There is going to be blood. In just a few hours, the inflation CPI data will be released. We're going to see millions of traders get absolutely wrecked. We're going to see people trade on emotion, flop and grope, and get absolutely sliced up. So I want to talk about a few things you can do to stay level-headed during these volatile times, because what happens in a few hours with this inflation data being released, it is going to affect short-term volatility, but it's also going to affect the long-term trend of Bitcoin. So make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to click that bell for notifications, because we are bringing you the juiciest, most timely technical analysis, updates, and trading strategies here on YouTube. So in a few hours, the inflation data will be released. They're predicting it to be 0.3% lower than it was in January. Now, if it's actually lower than predicted, this could be very, very bullish for Bitcoin and the S&P 500 and stock market long term. However, if it's lower than predicted, this could actually be very bearish for Bitcoin and the S&P 500 and stocks in the medium long term. And so we need to be prepared on how we're going to handle various situations, because whenever we are approaching these markets, we need to always have a plan going in, because the last thing you want to do is expose your capital to the market without understanding why you got into the market, where you plan to get out of the market, and that includes whether you're in a profit or in a loss. I have seen people hold positions into massive profit and hold it all the way back down to a loss. I have seen people flop and grope and miss out on opportunity. So the first thing that we need to do in order to avoid getting wrecked is don't get sliced up focusing on the lower term time frames. This is especially true if you are into Bitcoin for a longer term hold. When the news comes out, we are going to see on the 1 hour time frame probably massive wicks to the upside, massive wicks to the downside, and a lot of traders are going to get stopped out. And unless you understand how to trade smaller term time frames, please be very careful, okay? Now, there are ways to trade smaller term timeframes, but you have to have a very clearly defined plan in advance. You cannot just chase price, because if the news just comes out and all of a sudden we start to get a massive move to the downside, a lot of people are going to be tempted to short, right? Or vice versa. If we get a big candle to the upside, a lot of people are going to be tempted to long. Instead, what we need to do is we need to have a very clearly defined plan. We need to have key levels, like what we do in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, where we had a very, very clear level of support, 21,468, and when we come down to there with certain signals, it allows us to get into a long trade. Or if we're coming up to the top of a range, for example, like we did over here on Sunday, and we see certain signs, it can allow us to get into a short trade, right? It's all about having a clearly defined plan in advance, and if you don't have that, it's best if you just sit on your hands and stay out of the market. And by the way, if you want to join the Casper Crew VIP Discord, where we literally gave the long setup from 16.3, the exact bottom, and the short setup from 24K, we gave these setups in advance. Every single day we do 3 live streams a day, giving you the levels, the scalp trades, the day trades that we are looking at. You can go to patreon.com/Jason Casper. Also, if you want to take advantage of 0% limit fees on ByBit, great opportunity to save money, especially if you are scalping on these lower term timeframes, where you can limit in, where you can market in and then limit out without having to pay a fee. Also, if you want to learn how to trade this way and finally start doing this right, 20% discount on both trading courses at jasoncaspertrading.com, as well as a 14-day free trial on our trading bot. So the second thing we want to do in order to avoid getting sliced up when this news comes out is focus on the macro. If this news comes out very bearish, what that means is we can expect more bearish price action in the long term, right? Now, I don't know what the heck I just did to my chart here, but it is not very pretty. So we're going to fix that. In the long term, if this news comes out bearish, regardless of what happens in the short term, right? When the news comes out, we're going to wick up, we're going to wick down. It's going to be a wild party. It's going to be like a bounce castle of absolute uneven butt cheek madness, okay? It's going to be a bounce castle of upside down, Sam Bankman-Fried, man boob madness, okay? But if this news comes out bearish, we need to focus on the macro. The macro is this. We have officially now changed market structure on a higher term time frame, having put in a high, a low, a lower high, and now we've put in a lower low, taking out the previous higher low, which means bearish news, likely that this downtrend will continue, and we would be looking to short a rise, right? This is for you day traders, for you swing traders, people like myself who are actually holding the trade that we gave in advance in the Casper Crew Discord. I would be looking to add to this short If the news comes out bearish and we start to get a rise up to key resistances, I would look to short a lower high. However, if this news does come out bullish, we also have to understand that we have come down to a very key level of support, right? The level of support that we gave in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, this key 21.4 area of support. And we are starting to see some very bullish signs on market Cipher B on even the 4-hour time frame, where we are seeing, as the price is coming lower to the level that we gave, we are actually printing bullish divergences right here. Look at this. A low momentum wave, a higher momentum wave, and money flow is getting higher as we come down to this key zone of support around 21.4, which means if the news comes out bullish, we need to be prepared to potentially get a higher high coming in here. Now, another thing that we need to think about is the fact that the dollar and the stock market are also at very key locations. We take a look, for example, at the S&P 500, we can see that we are very, very close to some pretty important zones of resistance coming all the way up to like the $4,300 level. Meaning if this news comes out bullish, it would only make sense that the S&P 500 gets another rise to its level of resistance, actually coming back to the top of this massive range that we have been trading in since January of 2022. We've actually now switched market structure bullish, coming down to the macro 0.5 since the March 2020 dump. We have put in a higher high, rejecting from our trend line. We put in a higher low. Now we put in a higher high. So if this news comes out bullish, we would expect this bullish market structure to continue. Okay. Also, the dollar is coming up to a key zone of resistance. If we zoom out onto a higher term time frame like the daily, we can see that the dollar has actually been rejecting from a very significant Fibonacci golden pocket right here. And if this news comes out bullish, we would expect that the dollar would actually reject from this level, giving us higher prices for Bitcoin as well as the S&P 500. So we need to be prepared for both scenarios. And essentially, we need to plan our trading, our higher term swing trading around what happens with the news and what we see the dollar and the S&P 500 doing. Now, the third thing we have to do is we have to understand our goals. Why are we in this market in the first place? Now, for me, I am a trader, right? I take day trades, I take scalp trades, I take swing trades. I'm always trading Bitcoin on multiple time frames. But when we are coming up to volatile times, especially after a huge rise like this, we have to understand what are our goals for being here in this market. Why am I here? Why am I putting my capital up for risk? And for me right now on a higher term time frame, I am here to ride the next bull market to an all-time high on Bitcoin. I am here to accumulate Bitcoin on spot at as low of a price as I can so that when the bull market comes, I will be able to take profits at 100,000, 120,000, or even higher. And so when we, for example, get bearish news, and even if Bitcoin puts in a lower low from here, we need to stay focused on our goals. Why am I here? For me, I understand that I am here to ride the next bull market. And I understand that historically speaking, whenever Bitcoin comes down to this zone, this Fibonacci level between the 786 and the 886, this is the monthly time frame, and we get a bottom on market Cipher B, that means the bottom of the bear market is in. That means this is the official signal for me to accumulate Bitcoin as much as possible before the next bull run. Now, if you don't believe Bitcoin's going to have another bull run, because you're like, oh, but Jason, this time's different. This time there's a recession. This time there's a war. This time this time that. Okay, fine. Then get the heck out of the market, right? Then this obviously isn't for you. But if you believe that Bitcoin does have a future and that we are going to see another bull run as myself, then even if things are bearish and even if there's a lot of fear, we need to stay true to our goals, right? We need to stay true to our convictions about what we believe is going to happen in the market. Don't let the emotions get the best of you, right? If Bitcoin, for example, does come down and put in a lower low, right? This is still an amazing opportunity for me because I am seeing the macro bottom signals, and I'm not going to let fear of a lower low dissuade me from building a big position to hold in the next bull market, right? And I know a lot of people get scared when the Bitcoin price starts to dump, especially after a big rise like this. People start to get bullish. People are calling the bottom. And indeed, on a large macro time frame, I believe the bottom is in. But the bottom, in my opinion, is not a price. It's not an exact price, right? The bottom is a conglomeration of different signals printing at the same time, fundamentally and technically. And I believe that we do have the fundamentals and the technicals right now to say that the bottom is in this zone, and this is the time to really accumulate, okay? So please don't let your emotions get the best of you. Stick to your goals, stick to your plans, understand why you're here in the market, And don't let emotions stop you from making gains or from pursuing an opportunity that only comes around once every few years, and it's probably who knows how many more times we're going to have this opportunity. So that is it for today's video, guys. May you all be blessed in the name of Jesus the Messiah, Yeshua the Messiah. I know not everyone's religious, but for me, my relationship with Jesus gives me hope. It gives me purpose in life, and I just pray that the Lord would also reveal himself to each one of you and bless you in many, many ways. And I will see everybody in the next video. Peace.